Okay, everybody, this is Spoonie, and I'm back with another big Dollarama comic book haul. I'm going to start off with the garbage just to get out of the way. As you can see, I've got Disney's Marvel's Star Wars Princess Leia, written by Mark Waid, art by the Dodsons. Now, Mark Waid can be a good writer. He hasn't been for a while. He's mostly been melting off on social media. Um, but the worst thing about this, I would say, is actually the art. It's not. Some of it is that kind of Dodson quality, but there's a lot of panels I can't find any in particular right now um, that just look really bad. So I'm not expecting much from the story. The art looks, well, at least passable. Then we've got Disney's Marvel's Star Wars Han Solo miniseries, but written by Marjorie Liu, art by Mark Brooks. Now, it's been a while since Mark Brooks, I've seen him do interiors. Mostly he does covers and stuff like that. And quite frankly, looking at the art, I can kind of see why. Now, it's actually quite good, don't get me wrong. But it's, I guess it's, when he has the time constraints of trying to do like a monthly book, he can't put the same kind of quality work into his art that he's normally known for. I will say though, it is nice to see his art and it's not completely wet. I know a lot of people complain that everything he draws looks wet. And for the last of the Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, we've got the ongoing Star Wars Last Flight of the Harbinger. Um, written by Jason Aaron. Now, for a while, Jason Aaron was my favorite writer working at Marvel. I loved his Ghost Rider. I loved his Wolverine stuff. I've heard his Star Wars, and I think he wrote some of the Vader stuff. Was more of the highlights of the Disney Star Wars books, but again, I'm not looking forward to any of this just because I hate the Disney era Star Wars. Okay, next up I have Dark Knight, a true Batman story, written by Paul Dini, art by Eduardo Riso from 100 Bullets. It is a Vertigo series. Now, at first I thought, oh, okay, cool, maybe um, DC was going to be start telling, like, I know they've got their DC Black Label now, but I thought, oh, maybe they were going to start telling, like, some Vertigo type stories with characters other than, like Swamp Thing and stuff. But apparently, the story behind this is sort of in the 90s when working on like Tiny Toons and Batman animated series. Paul Dini was jumped and attacked, and he was pretty badly beaten. And on the road to recovery, he says he often sort of pictured Batman there, kind of looking over him and gave him inspiration to kind of rehab and stuff like that. And I think he's since fully rehabilitated. I know he's worked on Lost and he's done a lot of, I know, um, the 1 year later stuff for DC. I don't know if he's still writing for DC Comics, but this will probably be interesting, but I'm not really a fan of this sort of true life graphic novel stuff. Next up, Batman, the Jiro Kawada Bat Manga, Volume 3. Bat Manga, sorry. Um, this is cool because, first of all, let me look how thick that is. Um, these are apparently actual Batman stories that were printed in America, but they were adapted by this artist for a Japanese audience. And I mean, obviously, the art is pretty cool. It's interesting to see a sort of different take on Batman. Haven't read through these, and I haven't read the original stories they're based on, so can't tell you if they're good, but it sure looks like it could be a fun read. Next up, Injustice Ground Zero, Volume 2. I love the games in terms of fighting games. It's cool to have like the DC characters. It's really solid fighting game too. Injustice 2 especially. I don't really like the premise of like evil Superman because I feel like there's been a lot of stories that have shown that even if Superman's pregnant wife Lois Lane was killed, he'd still be above like murder and starting a totalitarian regime or whatever. But I've heard the series, the comic book series, is actually pretty good, and $4, how can you go wrong? Next up, Teen Titans Earth 1, Volumes 1 and 2, which right now I believe are the only two that are out there. Haven't read them. I've heard the Earth 1 stuff is good, despite being a huge Superman fan. I haven't read the Earth 1 Superman by JMS. And I have heard the Earth 1 Batman by Jeff Johns is quite good. So I'll have to see if I can track those down for cheap. I'm not really a huge fan of the Teen Titans. I did like when Jeff Johns rebooted the series, sort of spinning out of that graduation day with Young Justice and the Titans. But who knows? Maybe this is the thing that will make me a fan. I mean, I like the animated series, at least the first one, but it's a different reinterpretation of the characters, so, I'll give it a shot. Okay, starting to get into some of the better stuff. We've got the New 52 era Superman. Now, I guess this is post-convergence because they've dropped the New 52 branding on it. It says Volume 2, Return to Glory, but I think that's just Volume 2 written by Jean Luen Yang, because for some reason his first sort of stories collected were called Volume 1. It's shrink wrapped. I haven't opened it yet. I can't tell you what's in there. But I love Superman, and I'm hoping for interesting things about this. This puts me one book closer to having the entire New 52 run of Superman Action Comics. Next up, Wonder Woman. This is written by Alan Heinberg. Also art by the Dodsons, but you can see in this one the art is much more consistent. I don't know why. Maybe they just the Star Wars book was just sort of mandated upon them. Maybe they just have a stronger connection to the Wonder Woman character. But the art is just so much better. Anyways, written by Alan Heinberg. He did the was it Young Avengers? He created the Young Avengers for Marvel. This book, I'm trying to figure out, I think it was a 1 year later book, and it was actually a cool concept. They tried to sort of more in line with like the 70s Wonder Woman show. They made it so she can sort of transform into Diana Prince, who doesn't have powers. But then she spins around and stuff and becomes Wonder Woman, and then she's got all her powers and stuff like that. And I think they even brought in the invisible jet. I do remember when this was coming out, though. It's like because of Alan Heinberg, because he's a big TV guy. I think he worked on like Sex and the City or the OC or something. Remember, it's like they put out the first 5 issues, and then there was like a huge delay. So then they just went on to sort of the next arc with another writer-artist team. And then I think they came back with issue 11 and did a double-size issue just to finish off this arc. Okay, more New 52 Batman here. I've got hardcover volumes of Volume 4, 0 Year Secret City, and Volume 6, Graveyard Shift. I have everything now except for, I think, Volume 2, the Court of Owls. And most of that's all from the dollar store. I bought the first one when it came out, but all this other stuff has all been from the dollar store, which I think is pretty cool. I've heard this is a great run anyways, so it's great to get it for cheap. But this is something I think I would have checked out anyways, getting back into like DC Comics. And then last up, I have All-Star Batman, Volume 3, The First Ally. As I understand it, this is kind of just not any specific era Batman stories. They're just sort of kind of like all generic Batman stories that could take place in any kind of, whether it's like Flashpoint or 0 Hour or whatever the hell. Scott Snyder writing, fantastic Batman writer I was just talking about. And then you've got Rafael Albuquerque. I think he worked with Snyder on the American Vampire series. And then Sebastian Fiumara, name sounds familiar. I can't remember. Maybe an X-Men book I've seen him on. Anyways, this is, I think, the second volume of the Scott Snyder All-Star Batman I have, which is pretty cool. much like the sort of core Batman series he wrote for DC. I'm kind of being able to collect most of his run through the dollar store. So hopefully, great read for cheap. Anyways, let me know what you think of this video, if you've run any of this stuff before, if any of it's good, or if any of it's complete garbage. And thanks for your time watching.